The Supreme Court has handed down its decision in a controversial case involving a bakery that refused to make a wedding cake for a gay couple in Colorado. This story has to do with Charlie Craig and David Mullins, the gay couple that wanted to get married. They went to Masterpiece Cake in Denver, which is owned by Jack Phillips. Jack Phillips denied them a cake because of his sincerely held religious beliefs and how he opposes same-sex marriage. Now, this case went through appeals and finally ended up in the Supreme Court. And in a 7-2 decision written by Justice Anthony Kennedy, the court said the Colorado Civil Rights Commission violated the free exercise clause of the Constitution when it ruled that Jack Phillips had broken the state's public accommodations law in refusing to make a couple a custom cake. So essentially, the Supreme Court sided with the bakery. However, this is not to set precedent for future cases involving businesses that deny services to same-sex couples. This case is very specific. The details of this case are very specific, and the Supreme Court made it clear that the ruling really impacts this specific case.
So let me explain a little further. Normally when the Supreme Court rules on something, it is precedent that affects that entire area of law. In this case, they specifically said it does not. We're just ruling on this particular case based on what Colorado did in regards to their state ruling. And it's not to say that you can discriminate against gays in America, in Colorado, or anywhere else. And Kennedy explained you cannot. It's like denying blacks a seat at a diner table, right? Now, those parts are clear. It's only about this case, and you theoretically cannot discriminate against gay Americans, okay? The problem is there is a confusing part. It's the part Anna just read you, saying, well, you can't discriminate against a sincerely held religious beliefs because that also violates the Constitution. The problem is those things are going to be in conflict a lot.
They are. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And what the Supreme Court justices in this ruling had an issue with was that the state of Colorado appeared to be quite hostile toward the baker, right, and his religious beliefs. And by being hostile, you are doing something unconstitutional. Right, so that was
their ruling, at least.
That was their ruling, okay? So let me give you more. So this is Anthony Kennedy's writing. He says, the laws and the Constitution can, and in some instances must, protect gay persons and couples in the exercise of their civil rights. But religious and philosophical objections to same-sex marriage are protected views and in some instances protected forms of expression. The law must be applied in a manner neutral toward religion. And so the majority ruling essentially said there wasn't really a neutral reaction or treatment toward the religion. It was too hostile toward the religion.
Okay, but
I know
that also doesn't make any sense. Look, it's a tough case. It really is, and so I'm not saying in a knee-jerk way the liberal position is the correct one, because I take the Constitution very seriously, and we cannot prohibit the free exercise of religion. That's in the First Amendment, and very important and very clear. So the problem is, a lot of people have sincerely held religious beliefs that would discriminate against others. So now we can't allow the discrimination. That's also in the Constitution. So I don't blame the Supreme Court for punting in a sense, because it's nearly impossible to thread that needle. But they have got to make a decision, and this wasn't it. This is just saying, oh, we're going to rule on the Colorado case, but don't let it apply to anything else. Well, then everybody else is still in a state of flux and confusion as to what laws they can pass and enforce. So let me be clear about the sincerely held religious beliefs. And I think this baker in particular, he is sincere. So he also does not allow, he does not bake cakes that have alcohol in it because of his beliefs, or bake cakes related to Halloween, and he closes his shop on Sunday. So he's definitely sincere. Okay, and I don't even think that this is a case where a guy just hates gay people, wants to use it as an excuse, his religion as an excuse, which happens often, but not in this case, because the guy also hates Halloween. Okay, so he's really believes it, whether you agree with him or not, and it's important to protect those beliefs. But it also has slavery in the Bible. and in almost all the religious texts. So that was also a sincerely held religious belief in America that blacks were inferior. And there's a whole story about how one particular bad guy in the Bible was darker complexion, and that's why it was okay to, and their slavery is clearly allowed in the Bible, and so that's why it was okay to enslave black people. That was a sincerely held religious belief by a majority of the country in America. So, and that's what led to slavery. So now Colorado talked about that, and then Kennedy and other justices were like, how dare you talk about that? You're discriminating against religion. But wait a minute, that was true though.
It was true. So that's where I have an issue, because I agree that elected officials, the government cannot be, hostile to religion, right? That is unconstitutional. I agree with that. But in this case, I feel like it was so subjective because the arguments that were made in the lower courts in favor of the gay couple, right? They mentioned interracial marriage and things like that, and how you can't discriminate based on your religion against interracial married couples. Okay, but that is a fact. So how do you make those arguments without coming off hostile to a particular religion?
And that's exactly my point. Now, it's easy for me to say this because I'm agnostic. I don't believe in any other religions. But your religion, whether you're, by the way, Christian, Jewish, or Muslim, is hostile to gay people. It is.
That's right.
Now, it's also hostile to shrimp eaters, but you ignore that part, right? And look, the Mormon Church did not allow for black clergy and actively discriminated against black Americans until 1978. And that was a sincerely held religious belief. They thought that black people were not the same as white people according to their religion. Now, conveniently, they happened to change their religion because they wanted to get along with the rest of the country, but that was a sincerely held religious belief. So were we supposed to say, that's it, separate water fountains in Utah, separate schools in Utah? So look, my answer is, I think making sure that every American has equal protection under the law is more important than saying every tenet of your religion, including the ones that are discriminatory, must be enforced by the government. Now, where I would draw an important line though is we cannot discriminate between the religions. So you can't say, well, Muslims don't like gays, so we're not gonna allow that. But the Christians who don't like gays, we're gonna allow that. You can't do that, right? So you can't discriminate between Mormons, Muslims, Christians, atheists, agnostics, etc.
Because that would also be unconstitutional.
Because that would be unconstitutional. Yeah. But if your religion demands that you not treat people equally, well, sorry, we live in a secular country, right? So as long as we're not discriminating between religions, I think we are allowed to say no, equal protection under the law. And unfortunately, this case didn't quite get there. Right,
and I'm sure that similar situations will come up in the future. And this is why it's so important to keep in mind who you're electing as president. Because Neil Gorsuch, of course, joined the majority opinion on this case. Now let's get to a fun component of this story. So Donald Trump Jr. did not like the way the headlines were written in regard to this story, even though the outcome was something that he was in favor of. Now, he tweeted the following: I am reading about the 7-2 vote. Pretty sure that's not narrowly. At least 2 Dem-leaning justices have agreed. Okay, so the way that the headlines are written indicate that this was a narrow decision. And what they mean by narrow decision is not, there was like a tiebreaker in the Supreme Court. No, it means that this particular ruling applies to this very specific case. That's what it means.
Now look, I went to law school, so I know what a narrow decision means. It is particular to that case and is not precedent overall. Donald Trump Jr., of course, didn't go to law school. But is it too much to ask for you to read the article before you tweet about it?
Yes, I guess it is.
Right, because you obviously don't know what narrow means in this context. Didn't bother to find out. Very Trumpian of you. And it says 2 Democratic leading justices must have voted with a majority. Well, you could have just read the article and found out that they did, right? But you could tell in his must have that he didn't bother reading it. So then just take 2 minutes to read the article so you don't look like an idiot.
No, but for me, the thing that stands out is something that's common among just the Trump supporters, everyone in the Trump administration. Like, even when they get what they want, they're ready to pounce. Like they're always angry and they're always ready to attack. You won. This is a ruling that you're in favor of. Like, move on with your life.
Nope, you gotta get triggered. And if you're a conservative, you always have to be the victim. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.